Everyone, welcome to Customized Search with Lesson Magic. I'm Hope. I'm the founder and CEO of Teaching Solved, and I am going to demonstrate the Teaching Solved search, the Lesson Magic search. Lesson Magic is the product, Teaching Solved is the company. And what I really created it for was because when I was teaching Spanish for a long time, and I still am at Arizona State, I really wanted to find resources more efficiently. I was spending a lot of time looking for readings and videos that were at my students' level or that were related to the topic, because sometimes you have a reading that has a lot of good examples of your grammar or culture that's in the unit, but they might not know the words, right? Or vice versa. And so I was really trying to find things that were useful for my students. So I'm actually going to demonstrate the Spanish search because I have just actually brought the Spanish search up to the minute with two amazing new edits yesterday. So we're going to see how that plays. Basically, what I have is I have it keyed to the vocabulary, grammar, and culture of your unit. So whether you're teaching out of a traditional textbook or whether you are teaching from like pre-made units that you have created, this helps you correspond to what you need to teach for your particular unit. And so for this one, because it's Spanish, I'm going to be putting the topic in English and in Spanish. That way I can make sure that I find the resources that have it in both. I do hope to add more languages in the future. In fact, if you want me to add your language, I would really like a list of any particular websites that you think are the most helpful, that you search in the most, because that will help me start compiling resources for that language. This is completely free. I don't, I'm directing traffic to other people's websites, so they might benefit from it, but I am not directly benefiting from people using this. So there's no harm in sharing websites with me to put into the platform. The only paid part on this is the pre-made lessons that are in English, Spanish, and French. So the vocabulary topic I'm going to put in is, for example, daily routine, which in Spanish is rutina diaria. And usually we have reflexive verbs that go along with that, which is pretty typical. So I'm probably going to specify the tense. Let's say we want to do it in past tenses. That way we can say, well, today I did this and this and this, right? So that might be a little more specific, something that might not typically be in your book. So it combines, so the new thing you might have noticed since yesterday, Jimmy, is that it actually scrolls down the page now when you search. It takes you right to the results. I'm very proud of that. The real world resources is, so here sometimes it tells you it's searching for the wrong thing. You can click on the link below to make sure that it's searching for the right thing. And the other new update that I made yesterday is it no longer includes things from Quizlet or Brainly or Reverso or Google Translate. So you're actually getting more real world resources when you click on real world resources. Imagine that, right? So there's things on Instagram that have to do with daily routine in the past tenses. And what it's doing is it's not searching for the words past tenses, it's searching for verbs that are in past tenses. So it really enables you to find pages that have that grammar on there. But it's not about the grammar. It's not just a grammar explanation. So these are YouTube things. These are Facebook or TikTok or International Committee of the Red Cross or Instagram or all kinds of things, right? BBC, the daily routine of a famous actor. So these are things that are in the language, but might be interesting to the students, and they might not all be school appropriate. This is sort of the AI mode where you have to really vet them. But it's better than just going out there online, because it already blacklists some words. You're not going to find, certain words like I said, Quizlet or Brainly. So it's not going to just be flashcards. It's going to actually be things from the real world. But there are also other resources that come up as well, such as vocabulary and conversation videos, narration videos. This is searching inside specific YouTube channels. So you find things that are in the language that aren't just explanations. Because if you search for your specific grammar topic, a lot of times you just find explanations, which is fine if that's what you're looking for, but it's hard when that's all you find. And so the important thing is to be able to find those things to use it in context. And then the ready-made lessons is the only part that's not free. However, when you click on a PowerPoint, and like I said, I only have these right now for English, Spanish, and French, but when you click on a PowerPoint, you can actually put in the code summer24 to get the free month. You get the preview. If you want to see the preview in a little more detail, you can click on the Teachers Pay Teachers link, and you can see a preview of some of the slides and how many pages. I mean, and I created these lessons because if you search and you find resources that are very good, you still might not have time to sequence them and scaffold them. Or sometimes, you know, I know as an instructor, sometimes my brain turns off when I'm trying to figure out what all I can do with a resource to get more out of it. And that's why I also have a list here of other kinds of activities. This was from a longer workshop I gave, but I'm just going to jump to a couple of the slides here, where you don't have to do all of these with every resource. But a great thing to do with the different resources is to help students get more out of the input materials. If you are doing some previewing of some of the materials first, then you don't end up saying, well, you probably didn't understand much of that, so let's review, right? They're able to really understand more of it and connect more of the vocabulary, grammar, culture from your unit, see it in context, start asking and answering questions about the information instead of just doing a little comprehension check. And this is really a way to grow their proficiency. This no input, no output comes from the authors of Common Ground, which is a great book about language teaching methodology. I recommend checking it out if you haven't, just because it's important to be able to do more with what you have. Part of it is finding resources quickly, but part of it is getting more out of those resources so that when you spend a lot of time finding something or you think it's great and then it falls flat in class, sometimes it's because the students didn't understand it. And then here are some example activities for some of these different steps. For example, they could learn a strategy before doing the reading or video. They could do a related task. For example, in one of my PowerPoints, I have them planning or talking about what they do at a certain time before adding the days of the week or before making plans with a friend. And then they start doing the activity where they're listening for when people are available, etc. And then for post listening or reading, it doesn't even have to just be comprehension. You could have the students create their own true or false statements or create false phrases about it that their classmates have to correct. That way they're getting to that output as well, where they're creating sentences, retelling a story from a different perspective or from their notes, and not just trying to translate everything or just do comprehension. So like I said, obviously it's not important to do all of these activities with every text. It's just these are ideas in case you get kind of overwhelmed with all the possibilities or just can't think of something that would be perfect or would help you extend, so you don't have to create more and more and more and more activities for the same topic. So that's a little bit about the customized search in Lesson Magic by Teaching Solved. I hope you've enjoyed this little preview. And like I said, I do hope to incorporate more languages in the future. So this is something that, you know, if somebody is really interested in helping me put together a list of sites where they might look for resources, I could build them in, as well as what kinds of topics you might be looking for in that language. Because usually what I do is, for the languages that I speak, obviously I'm able to do it myself. But then I also want to make sure I go through kind of what things are called that teachers might be looking for in English as well as in the target language. That way I can make sure that everything that needs to be is in the search engine. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording here, and if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.